That was stupid. Let's see if I can get you in focus. How's it going, guys, and welcome to this video. So as you will have probably noticed, I don't really have anyone to ride with here in Spain. I've put a post on Facebook asking if there's anyone in the area that wants to go for a ride. I may well be able to get out for a ride with the guy that owns the bike shop up in one of the local villages here. He's an English guy. I'm hoping to get out with him, but he doesn't really ride so much anymore. The property that we live on, the lady that owns it had some people here the other day chopping down trees and stuff, maintaining the property. The guy clocked my bike and sort of through a person that spoke English said to me that he'd like to go for a ride at some point, but he was proper like a whip, like a real thin whippet, like, you know, he'll be the stereotypical kind of Spanish rider. So not only do I not really speak much Spanish yet, the riders here all have one thing in common, whether they ride a crazy bike with 3/4 inch wide tyres and really weird bendy handlebars, road bikes, or if they ride like a full squish but with 120, you know, like a cross-country full squish or hardtail. They all have the same thing in common. In Spain, they seem to like to find their way to the bottom of the most ridiculous hill they can find and spend hours just slogging uphill. So I don't really have a lot in common with the kind of what I've seen to be the riding style that they like to do here, which is steep cross-country and steep road riding. Now, along with the obvious stuff about not having any riding buddies like I used to, I never really used to. I prefer riding by myself, if I'm honest, but I had people that I could ride with in the UK, and the drawbacks of not having anyone to ride with here are the obvious stuff, like you miss out on all the camaraderie and all that kind of stuff while you're out on the ride, but it also doesn't, you don't push yourself on, you don't ride with people that are faster with you and kind of push each other on and sort of look to get bragging rights and look to sort out the pecking order between the riders. All of that stuff really pushes you on and makes you quicker as a rider, which means I'm just not riding fast enough at the minute. I'm not tackling the features that I'm coming across on the trails with enough sauce, and my riding is just suffering through the fact that I have to ride by myself a lot of the time. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna keep trying to, you know, it'd be nice to find some people to ride with every now and then, but I do prefer riding by myself. I prefer doing my own thing. I prefer the sort of peace and quiet of silent riding. Having someone to ride with every now and then would be great, but that's not what I need to work on to improve my riding in the immediate future, I don't think. Now, to this problem, I have a solution. I have a plan. Actually, before I tell you that, have a look at this. I might not be able to get to focus on it. That there is my new keyring. It's a bent bottom bracket, just a little idea for you there. That's a really cool keyring. Pretty cool, eh? Listen to that truck purr. Not bad for a 24-year-old. So yeah, I have a plan. Now, part of my problem is that I changed my riding style, or tried to change my riding style to a Jeff Kendallweed style of riding, which is, I don't know if you've ever watched Jeff Kendallweed ride, but he's the fastest, most playful rider I think I've ever seen. He makes riding look about as much fun as any YouTuber I've ever seen. He's amazing on a mountain bike. So I tried to basically change my riding habits, look for lines, look for stuff to hop off, and yeah, just try and enjoy my riding more through you know, I would have to ride slower than he does. Obviously, I can't ride as fast as he can anyway, but I would have to dial it back in a bit and look to be playful and find lines. So I've tried to do that for a little while. You may not notice because I'm just basically hopping off rocks that I see instead of skirting around them. Just aiming to have fun and be playful and jumpy, and yeah, just have fun instead of go fast. Now, I'm the first to admit that I'm no kind of stylish rider. I don't pull manuals, I can't manual, I can't really wheelie, I can't really jump. So like, I'm not a stylish rider. That's really not my thing. And to try and force myself to ride like that really isn't a very good idea. So even though I'm not like a mega fast rider, I get some top 10s around here on like out of 300, only on maybe 3 or 4 out of the 20 odd segments that I ride often around here. But I'm a reasonably fast rider. You know, to my own ability, and that's my natural state of riding, is to be riding fast, taking direct gnarly lines, you know, whether that means a drop or a bunny hop over something, whatever. That's my natural habit when it comes to riding, and I really need to rekindle that in myself and start riding fast again. Now, not only do I want to ride fast, I want to get faster and faster and faster, and like I said just now, having no riding buddies, you tend not to push yourself on. So obviously the areas that I was trying to develop before was like manuals and wheelies and all that kind of tricks and stuff, whereas really I should be trying to develop my cornering speed and stuff like that, flat corners, berm corners, just being fast and line choices and stuff like that, which is what I need to concentrate on. So with a lack of riding partner, the best way for me to do that is to pick some of my favourite segments in the area, and when I say segments I mean Strava segments, that can be easily looped or easily pushed back up, so as I can get run after run after run and basically session them, not just session them as in full runs at a time. I'll pick corners that I'm struggling with or little features that I'm struggling with, and I'll session them with the camera on the tripod, so as you can see me doing it, session little sections until I've kind of got the trail dialed in, and then try and do a really fast run. Now what I'll do is I'll show you my before and after sort of times on Strava, and you'll see my progression throughout the course of sessioning the different sections and the whole thing. So I'll do a POV run to start off with to sight it in, I'll do a few sessioning, you know, features, and then I'll do like a final 4 or 5 drops until I feel like I've got a really quick one in there. And that's going to be what I do in this video, and we are just heading now to the trail that I'm going to do that on. Okay guys, so here we are near the top. I've just had to do some pretty gnarly 4x4 in actually to get up here. First time I've properly used the truck, and holy shit, it's lucky it's been raised, this truck, when I got it. I was lucky for the stuff that I did then, so that car's just paid for itself in that one trip to get me up here without having to do any climbing really. So I guess now's a good time for me. I'm literally like a 5-minute walk up to the top there, so now's a good time for me to show you on a screenshot that I took last night my current standings on this Strava segment. It's called, I think it's called Orhiva Single Track Descent. So yeah, let's have a look at that now. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tripod that I've got this camera on now in my big rucksack. I've got my big rucksack with me today. I'm going to climb up with that, and I'm going to do my first kind of sighting run, if you like, to decide what parts of the track I'm going to session, if any. There's a corner there that I'll probably session and set this camera up for that. So yeah, like a quick sighting run of the track. I've done it before, but just to know what I want to session, and then I'll show you. So that's going to be like a POV run on the track, which is my starting run, if you like. And then after that, I'll know which bits I'm going to session, and I'll set this camera up for third person footage of me actually sessioning the different corners and stuff like that. And that jump that I showed you the other day is actually up here, so I may well do a bit of footage of me going off that jump. So next thing you'll see is me in POV mode. Okay guys, here we are going into our first kind of sighting run. Yeah, completely cold, but let's see how we get on. That corner needs work, obviously, rutted. This section here can be fast if I can come out of that corner quick enough. Need to try and leave off the brakes there. Big left-hand bend coming up, but it's bermed, so I definitely need to work on that. Again, could carry more speed through that section. Ruts are a problem. Can make it hard for me to get the king of the mountain, definitely. Hola. Okay, so we'll walk back up through this and I'll point out, you know, the things that I'm going to session, what I've got to watch out for. And obviously the big issue is the ruts. They can really, not about slowing me down, that just is what it is, but I could quite easily come a cropper on some of these ruts. Especially like this one here. I think I need to get on the high side of that rut, on the right as you look at it here. Great little place to pump, couple of pumps there to keep the speed up, although at that point I'll be carrying more than enough speed anyway. A nice gnarly little section there, and your natural instinct is to take the wide line to the right as we look at it now, but I need to be taking the inside line straight down that if I can line up for it properly. I really should be wearing a full facer for this, but I cracked it in Valnord Bike Park, so I've slung it away, but yeah, that is what it is. Another little pretty gnarly section, but the rut above it, if you can see it, obviously I'm not going to be pointing in the right place, but the rut running into this down this little gnarly section actually puts you on the right line, just straight down on the left hand side as we're looking at it. This is the only little pedally section of the whole descent, and it's kind of flat, a little bit uphill towards the end, but yeah, that's fine. This bag actually covers up the line I need to be on, so get rid of that. I can come in here nice and wide then, off that little bermed up bit, and come out of that corner nice and central. Obviously in and out of this one on the outside of that rut. Yeah, same here, outside of the rut, and then a quick whip across the other side, get on the outside of the next one. So I reckon it's this corner here is going to be the main thing to session, set up the camera and session it on. This is kind of the second feature, I think, going from the top. The other one is that flat corner to start off with. This little section here is awkward actually, because it could do with a nice little berm here, just so as you can hold that little bit extra speed. But I think the alternative is to ride the rut down and then hug the corner tight to hold speed on that. I'm never going to remember all this, but those kind of sections are going to be when I session the whole run, as opposed to individual little sessioning, you know, sessions. This here is awkward. This is all loose here. If I had tools I could build this into a berm. I might try and stamp it down roughly in a minute, but I've got no berm there to rely on, and the rut is holding me out wide, so I'm going to have to get as wide as I can to the left of that rut, which is actually quite a hard line to stick to without dropping into the rut, and then just try and make the best of this bend. And obviously this washout could have been this winter, could have been last. It gives me a bit of a disadvantage in terms of getting the overall king of the mountain and working my way up, because the riders before me might have not had this to kind of contend with. Right, probably out of focus there, but this is a setup on this first corner. I'm going to run it slow a couple of times. It's not going to be a fast corner anyway. I've set the auto focused, I've locked it so as it's focused roughly where the bike is, so as it's as best as it can be when I'm sessioning. So yeah, let's do a couple of runs a minute and see how it looks. Okay guys, actually that's going to do for that little section. I've only run it twice, but it's not a fast corner. I found the best line. Yeah, there's not much point in going much further on that one, so we're going to head down to the next bermed corner. Okay guys, this is that bermed corner. This is the best angle I could find. Hopefully the sun isn't in the shot too much. Let's do some sessioning. Right, so I'm definitely going for that second sort of central line down there, because you have to scrub a bit more speed going in, but you can carry loads more on the way out. So that one's sussed. Okay, well, I took the right line through the first little rock garden, carried nice speed into that next bend into the second rock garden, and then ended out in the rut in that second little rock garden there. So the next thing you'll see is me dropping into one of the fast descents to try and get further up the Strava segments. Okay, here we are back at the top. So my best is 120, top 10, I'm number 88 at the minute, top 10 is 110, so that's what we're aiming for. So let's see how we get on. Oh, not as fast around that as I wanted to be. Oh my god. Well, we didn't record that on my Garmin because it's a piece of shit that you need to press ride and then press start as well. Oh my fuck. That felt good as well. Oh well. See you back at the top. Well, 1 second for you. 15 minutes of hiker biking later for me. I'm back at the top feeling significantly tireder, unfortunately. So it's important that I clean this one because I'm running out of time, running out of energy. And it's ridiculous because I press ride on the screen of my Garmin, but then you have to press play as well on the actual buttons, which is ridiculous. So I didn't record that last one, but I know roughly where this Strava segment starts and finishes, so I can put like a counter on screen for that last ride, so as we can see how I did, just in case this one doesn't go so well. But yeah, let's have another go. Feel quite nervous about it now. Right, let's do this. Oh, straight away that's not as good as the last run. felt about the same. Felt slower. Whoa, okay, I think that felt good. Fucking hell.